Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Orlia Day. Thank you so much for pressing play. If you are new here, welcome. And if you have already subscribed, thank you guys so much for your support. Now today, as you see from the title, we are going into the fourth episode of our Fasting Miracles series. And I will be talking about the benefits of fasting and prayer and why is fasting and prayer important. And so if that is something that you are interested in, continue watching. Okay, now as I stated before, we are talking about the benefits of fasting and prayer, and in this video I will be sharing with you three benefits of fasting and prayer. And why is fasting and prayer important? Why do I need to fast and pray? Now, I think as Christians, fasting and prayer, it's not just any activity, it is a necessity. As I stated before in previous videos, that the Bible states that there are certain things that will not be possible unless you fast and pray. So I believe that fasting is a necessity, and if it is something that you have not done in the past, you can consider that strategy. And so I hope that while you watch this video, you will be encouraged to do so. Now, there are different types of fasting. This is where we abstain from something that could be food, social media, people, different things that you usually participate in, and you abstain from those things in order to sit with God, to hear God's voice clearer. People fast for different reasons, but in this video, we're going to be talking about, as I've done in my previous episode, spiritual fasting and mainly fasting from food. And so I want to share with you three benefits of fasting, three benefits of spiritual fasting, and why it is important. Now, the first benefit that I want to share with you is a very important one for you to get if you are going to decide to fast and pray. And this is it. Fasting changes us. It does not change God. Fasting changes us, guys. It does not change God. And I feel like a lot of us, and even me in the past, in my younger days as a Christian, I thought that fasting was pretty much, changing God's mind. But no, it actually changes us. It does not change God. And so if you're someone who is fasting to manipulate God, who is fasting to change God's mind, a lot of times we know the direction to take. We know where we're supposed to go, where we're supposed to be, what we should be doing. And as a means of procrastination, we say, let me go on a 3-day fast. And we wait, we talk to God, we beg and we plead to God in order to change his mind regarding the will that he has for our lives. But that should not be the focus of fasting and prayer. And mark you, while there are a lot of times when a decision might have been made or something might have happened and you fast and it turned similarly to episode 1 when I got rejected at the embassy and I fasted and prayed and I received another visa, but you recognize that in that season those situations or what was happening during that season was for a particular purpose. But I think it's important for us to understand that when we fast and pray, we are more going into a, a better positioning to hear God's voice, to discern his leading, also be clearer on the direction that he is taking us. Another important point that we should take from fasting and prayer is that we should not be legalistic with fasting. doing it because it makes us look holy, doing it because it's the Christian thing to do, but we fast for a specific purpose from the leading of God and because we want to know the heart of God. It's important for us to understand that obedience is better than fasting. The Bible clearly states that obedience is better than fasting. Similarly to what the Bible also states, that obedience is better than sacrifice. And when I saw this scripture regarding obedience being better than fasting, I got convicted. In Zechariah 7:4-7, we see where the Lord is speaking to King Darius and his nation regarding the importance of obedience over fasting. Not that we should not fast, but what are your motives when you are fasting? And I just wanted to share quickly the scripture, but in your own time, you can read the entire chapter of Zechariah 7 to see the backstory and just to meditate on that regarding what the Lord is saying to you. Now it states in verse 4-7, then the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, say to all the people of the land and to the priests, when you fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th month during those 70 years, did you really fast for me? For me? When you eat and when you drink, do you not eat and drink for yourselves? Should you not have obeyed the words which the Lord proclaimed through the former prophets? And so here the Lord is asking King Darius and his nation, you could fast from now until the morning, but were you obedient though? The things that I've asked you to do and the places that I've directed you to go, did you do them? Did you go there? Did you obey what I told you to do? So fasting would not be effective, in certain situation if the Lord is asking you to be obedient. I feel like a lot of times we know what is right. We know where the Lord is directing us. It's clear in the Bible that we should not do this thing. And so we find ourselves doing this thing. We find ourselves in this particular situation. And instead of going to God and ask Him to help us, all right, take me out of this situation or give me strength to walk in the direction that you're leading me, we go to God and we present the messed up situation to Him and we want Him to bless it. And so it is in this scripture where the Lord is saying King Darius and his nation, and He is saying it to us. He said it to me when I read the scripture, and I'm like, wow, it was like fire was shut up in my bones because it really convicted me, because I feel like we can tend to sometimes be legalistic with certain practices as Christians instead of being obedient. And we see that the Lord is big on obedience. And instead of fasting, why not do what the Lord has called you to do? You tell you go left, you go right. And say left if you're going up, but you're still not accepting the directive that the Lord is bidding you. So I challenge you today that if you're someone who fasts and pray, if you're someone who do not fast and pray, consider your motives when you do so. And so some of the things that you can ask yourself during fasting and prayer. The first question that I think is important is, what are my motives for fasting and praying? What may I pray? What may I fast for? Did God already talk to me? Me already know the answer. So if I already know the answer, why am I fasting and praying? Am I fasting to manipulate God and change His mind? Or am I fasting to be in a better positioning to discern the voice of God. So your motives, we know that the Lord is big on motives. We could be doing all good things, extravagant things, but it can mean nothing to God if our motives are not right. So assess your motive as you fast and pray. The second question that you can ask yourself during fasting and prayer is, has God already spoken, and am I trying to change his mind? Which I say so many times already in the video. Am I trying to change his mind, manipulate God? Do you already know the answer to what you're fasting for? The third question, is this fasting more directing me to know in the heart of God or to receive my selfish desire? Is this fasting more directing me to know the heart of God or to receive my selfish desires? Many times the Lord is calling us to be obedient, guys. Many times we do these things because we are procrastinating to move in the direction that God is calling us. So remember, guys, obedience is better than fasting. Now, the third point that I want to share with you is that fasting moves us into a better positioning to do God's will. And we see this in the life of Jesus when he came here on earth. We saw that he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and we saw that he did this in order to prepare himself for ministry and to fulfill what the Lord has called him to do. Now, like Jesus, fasting equips us to gain strength against temptation. It also helps us to use the appropriate tools to overcome temptation, and it allows us to stay focused on the mission which we are called to do. And so if you're going into ministry, if you're changing locations, if you're making a particular decision or decisions, life-changing decisions, serious decisions, so this could be changing a job, getting married, having kids, going into another location, or going into another season, starting school, whatever big decisions these are, it is important for us to fast and pray and ask God for his directive. And the third and last point is that fasting helps to break habits and spiritual bondage. Isaiah 58:6-7 says, "Is not this the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke?" And so I think that this aspect is usually overlooked, because a lot of times we're going through our issues, we're going through our challenges. This could be besetting sin, bad habits, spiritual bondage, addiction. Fasting can break those challenges if we allow God to do so. Now, when we fast, we usually shift our focus or our attention from ourselves, and we focus on God. And a lot of times when we go through these challenges, it's because we're trying to overcome them by ourselves. A lot of times we focus on ourselves, we're going through challenges, challenging situations, and usually we use these things in order to soothe the pain, a quick fix, but we still have the issue that is presented. But what fasting does, it allows us to be still. It allows us to get directive from God. And it also allows our will to be stronger and gives us the strength to overcome different temptations. Because when we're fasting, we're abstaining from something, and that is building our capacity to resist those temptations. Fasting helps to break bad habits and spiritual bondage, and the Lord, through fasting and prayer, based on my personal experience, can give you the strength to break some of those challenges that are placed in our lives. I pray that if you're someone who is going through those challenges, if you have those issues, like all of us do, present them to God. But don't just present them to God, but go into fasting and prayer, and the Lord will definitely help you to do so. Close, I just want to encourage you, if you have not fasted, if this is something that you're contemplating, I pray that you will go prayerfully before God and ask Him to direct you in how to fast, what to fast from, and present your concerns before Him, and He will definitely direct you. I thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me and for listening to me during this video. Next episode, we're going to be focusing on how to prepare for fasting and prayer. And so, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. And until next time, remember, God make all things beautiful in His time. See you next time. Love you guys. Bye.